Hello and welcome to Conversational Pressure, the podcast show, where we provide different outlooks, share our truths, and encourage listeners by helping to nurture, heal, and inspire, all while making you laugh, sometimes cry, but ultimately giving hope. And to my left is my co-host, D. This week, we will be discussing the brown paper bag test, colorism in the Black community. What is the brown paper bag test? The brown paper bag test, the brown paper bag test is a term in the African American oral history used to describe a racist, discriminatory practice within the African American community. It is used in which an individual's skin tone is compared to the color of a brown paper bag. The test was used to determine what privileges an individual could have. Only those with a skin color that matched or was lighter than the brown paper bag were allowed admission or membership privileges. The test was believed by many to be used in the 20th century by many African Americans, social institutions such as sororities, fraternities, and social clubs. The term is also used in reference to larger issues of class and social stratification and colorism within the African American population. People were barred from having access to several public spaces and resources because of their darker complexion. The test was used at the entrance to social functions wherein a brown paper bag was stuck at the door and anyone who was darker than the bag was denied entry. That's deep. Very deep. Privilege has long been associated with skin tone in the African American community, dating back to the era of slavery. I'm going to start by asking, has this ever been an issue for you? And if so, leave a comment, saying what happened, how it happened to you, and what the outcome was, I'm going to say. Earlier today, our producer, John, posed the question on his Facebook page, what has been your experiences with colorism? There were many people that responded, and I noticed that the one thing most comments had in common was that most people experienced it at a young age and not many experienced it as an adult. One person even went on to say that Black is Black and the concept is silly. Do you think, now, my question is, do you think that is because as an adult you see it for what it is? But I'm going to start with, has that ever happened to you?
I have never experienced it that I'm aware of.
Okay, so that was definitely the comment that a lot made. And then there were some who did also make the comment about people of lighter complexion. Some did make comments that they have experienced it. They didn't really say when in their life, but yeah, I know I have. Like I was telling y'all before we started the show, that is a person's first go-to when they want to offend me, I feel like. And I'm just like, well, I didn't ask to be this. Like, take it out with my light-skinned parents. Right. But then my question is, do you think that because as adults we see it for what it is, we don't experience it as much as adults? Because like I said, some of the people in the comments did say, they do remember being young. Like one guy was like, yeah, I remember being called an African booty scratcher. And then it was other people, they had little different sayings. So do you think though, like those same people though said they don't think they experienced it as adults? So do you think it's because as adults we see it for what it is, and it was used to internally pit us against one another. That's,
Absolutely.
Jim Crow.
Yeah, Jim
it was,
Crow.
yeah.
Yeah.
So,
get the, if you were the same complexion or lighter, then you could work in the house. And if not, you had to work in the fields. So that's just another thing, just like Willie Lynch, they just developed this to kind of
separate
keep us at war with each other.
Agreed.
Not being able to be able to appreciate all of our differences, within our community.
Right.
However, I think that for your question, I don't know, because I've never experienced it myself, and I've never, and I don't know that anyone has ever shared with me that they've been. I mean, of course, in school growing up, we would say things
right.
Wasn't necessarily nice to people who were too light or too dark, or say things about when they pissed us off, kind of like you say, right? But again, as adults, I just don't think that it really matters as much as it did when we were kids. Because when we were kids, we were still trying to find ourselves, this, that, and the other. You may run across somebody who's ignorant as crap today and just want to think they're going to offend you by calling you red this, or whatever. I just think that as adults, we come to be comfortable with who we are. That I just don't think it matters anymore. I think as adults we understand that there's more things that's
more pressing issues.
Exactly.
Right. So now I have seen, though, like on social media, for instance, well, everything is on social media, but anyway, where like when men, for instance, like this has been a big thing, when men say they prefer a lighter woman.
Okay.
And then it's like you have the, and you have that man, like, that's just my preference. And see, like, for me, I am a lighter woman, so I'm not going to act like I know the darker woman struggles, but I've always preferred darker men. Right. So I'm like, but it's not frowned upon when I prefer darker men, but it is frowned upon when men prefer lighter women.
But do you know why, though?
Why I like darker men?
No. Oh. Why it's frowned upon when men like lighter women, because it's a pinning the black woman against each other, for one, and you know how it's always been made that lighter is better, as far as Caucasians are supposed to be better. I think it's a subconscious way of us still staying in that same classification or same box as our ancestors did. I don't think we've really broken free completely from it. If for those people who that really matters to, it's one thing when it's attraction. You're attracted to whoever you're attracted to. It's not that you say, okay, I'm attracted to a lighter woman, or I'm attracted to a lighter man, that you think that they are. That everyone else darker is beneath them. That's just what you like. That's what you're attracted to. Now, if you want to say, well, all these light-skinned women is way better, way smarter, then we have a problem here, because your skin complexion don't matter. So, how smart you are.
Yeah.
And one thing that I also hate to see or hear is when somebody make the comment, "Oh, she's pretty for a dark-skinned girl."
Yeah, I don't like that. I don't like that. Period. Yeah, I don't.
I'm just saying, like,
it shouldn't.
But that also shows how it's still that darker people are considered second-class citizens.
So, do you think that's just a learned behavior in our community, or? Because like I said, I'd be quick to say I don't want nothing like this man.
Yeah, I mean, right. I just think it's some residue of where we've been.
Nothing.
Well, ancestors. I think it's
like
I think it's residue.
I actually have said, like, I might say, I'm like, oh, he's nice looking for a light skinned guy. Like, cause that is just that's what I'm saying. But that's what I'm saying. So I do it on the flip side, but it's not for like nobody
right.
has ever called me out for. But I'm straight up with it. Like, I don't want nothing like this man. I like
light boys was always named. They would say, oh, they soft, or they girly, or they they pretty boys, stuff like that. So it's always
everybody had a everybody has
it's vice versa. Vice versa. Light skinned girls, the stuff. Light skinned light-skinned boys like girls. I mean, they like,
Yeah.
you know. So I don't know. I think it's really just residue left over from where our ancestors have been.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I believe.
I can see that.
Mm-hmm.
I can definitely see that because, like you said, when you look back at slavery, you had those that worked in the house, and you had those that worked in the field, and I mean, at the end of the day, they still was a slave.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, but they made them seem like that position was better.
To pit one person's struggle against the next is crazy. Yeah. You know. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I just always looked at it as like both is bad. Both was bad.
Yeah, absolutely.
And yeah, it was. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't hear like with the kids, like with school and stuff like that. I don't really hear. Well, as a matter of fact, I'm gonna take that back. My daughter, Maya, she had said before that somebody told her that she think that she was all that because she.
Yeah. I was just getting ready to say when you said you don't hear it, I'm like, oh, don't worry. In my mind, I was saying Maya is going to be that she's going that
she has told me that her feelings was really hurt.
You know how many times I've been told I think I'm all that, and you know what my rebuttal always is. I promise you, if I was dark skinned, I would still have the same person. Like I would still think I was that's. But I have been told that my entire life.
Right.
But then it's like at some point you either embrace it,
yes,
or you take that on, and it's like, well, no, I'm not gonna apologize for who I am. No. I didn't ask, like I said, take it out with my red parents. I didn't ask to be this complexion.
Yeah. So that's why I said when I really stepped back, because at first I was like, I don't think I've heard anybody say they experienced it, but I did, it just dawned on me that she did experience that. Micah hasn't told me that he's experienced that.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, no, because I feel like it does. I'm not saying it doesn't happen to the men, but I feel like that
happens more
really with the girls. Yeah.
And she was a little, she was upset a little bit, and I, had a nice little talk with her. I was like, embrace who you are. It don't matter how light or dark you are. And,
as long as you're a kind person.
Exactly. And that's what matters. I said, that's that person's, their own, issues within themselves. It has nothing to do with you. So don't, for her not to internalize it. But, but other than that, like, my mama's light skinned. So, like, I'm brown. So I was like, I didn't have that struggle. Had to go. I was like in the middle, not too dark, not too light.
Right.
So I really haven't had that struggle. But I can say that when I was younger that I used that to, if somebody pissed me off, to say this, red X, Y, and Z,
I've been called a red B-I-T-C-H way more times than I care to name. It's like the first thing people go to is like, and I'm like, at some point it wasn't even offensive no more. I'm just like, yeah, I know, I'm a red B. Yeah, okay. Yeah. Come up with something better.
But I learned something this evening. I always equated that brown paper bag test to slavery. I never knew that it was clubs and stuff here, like within our community, that we kind of pitted
one another against each other.
In like now time, like and
it still happens apparently.
And it's crazy. That's crazy to me, especially with the struggles that we have to fight. Already as a people, because other nationalities, if they don't like us, they don't care how light or dark we are.
You are what you are, right? And so even with that, I definitely believe that it still happens because we still have this conversation about biracial people. Who do they belong to? Why can't they just belong to both? Why they just
a human race?
Right. Just like, why does it have to, if you got one drop of black blood, and they really be trying to make it scientific, and it is not. It's made up. Like,
well, I mean, if you even familiar with the Eve gene,
right? So then that means everybody. So,
but they would never some people, I won't say they, but some people would never, ever.
I mean, they wouldn't claim it, but they want to look like it anyway. So you ain't got to claim it.
Right, exactly. Because
Your actions show it when you in that tanning salon.
Like, what was that one? Whoa, Vicky. Have you ever, you know what I'm talking about?
Yes, unfortunately.
And she
Sucks.
said that she was black
Yeah, for a while.
for a long time. I mean, I know it was just a, I would think it was a publicity stunt.
It was scripted.
However, when you change how you act,
Talk.
everything, and it shows how you view us as a people.
Well, see, yes, because
It's not admiration. It shows what you, when you see us, this is what you see. So all of that loud, see, you don't find that in any group of people.
Well, see, and that's the thing. Even that,
It agitated me.
I'm sure it does. But when you look at that, we're not talking about this tonight, but even when you look at the trans community with how some portray themselves as women, I'm like, women don't even act like that.
The extra.
Yeah, it's very similar. Like, so what she see, how she portrays us as the ghetto, loud, and that's what she.
That's what she said.
Yeah, but even the way that she tries to talk, and it's like, come on now, that's not.
No.
That's this percentage of the world. That's what they want you to think it is, but that's only like 5%.
Yeah, absolutely. You know.
And that's why I always say, like, I feel like it's just as much good in the world as it is bad. We just always are shown the bad. Yeah, the
especially
bad is
when it comes to our community.
Yeah, that's all they show.
If they put the spotlight.
Yeah.
They don't look at, all the good things that we're doing, how, we do come together. We know how to come together. I wish we would do it more.
Right.
And show it more, and that it be shown more. I mean, put it that way, and that it be shown more. But we do come together, regardless if we light up or don't get in the paper bag.
Yeah.
I love to see women in general, because that's my personal ministry, just women, but I love to see women that look all types of walks of life come together, no matter what you look like, where you come from. It helps us build character. If we are around just the same type of people all the time, that's just where we gonna be at. But that's why I like when my kids have friends that aren't from the same the same tax bracket, just the same neighborhood, just whatever, because and then they know how to they know they don't discriminate, they're like, oh, I'm not gonna be around this person because X, Y, and Z. Like, kids are just, until you teach them to be different, But I always tell them not to clump people together. No stereotypes.
Yeah, like I try not to tell Corey to accept people for who they are, but I do tell her it's certain things be mindful of.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Don't sleep. Don't sleep. You can't put everybody in one category, but sometimes when you look at history,
you let them.
History is what history is.
And use your good sense.
Yeah, that part.
Yeah,
that part, because you definitely can be blindsided sometimes. You give a person, because I believe in giving people grace, but sometimes you give people grace, and then it's like, damn it, I knew it.
And it's like, all right, I'm gonna take that on the chin.
Yeah, lesson learned. But yeah, I definitely believe in, I learned a lot of lessons. For instance, my senior year of high school, I mean, not senior, but my sophomore, junior, and senior year of high school, when I switched schools, and I went from a predominantly all black school to a predominantly, it was 10 of us in the entire school. So that was definitely a culture shock. But I didn't experience the thing. Like I said, they didn't care if I was light skinned, dark skinned, none of that mattered.
Yeah, it ain't matter.
But I didn't really experience anything hurtful there either. Like the people were who they were. You knew the different groups, the cliques, and you just, they stayed away from you. You stayed away from them because they had like a group of skinheads.
Yeah.
And I'm, what's up? Keep it moving. You stay away from me. I stay away from you.
Yeah, I worked at a company where I was the only Black person there, and most everybody, was good. They didn't really show any bias or anything like that. But when certain things happened, it made me start to feel like I was the only one there. So that's when it was time for me to go.
And it's certain things that sometimes I noticed. It's not what they call them. Damn, I can't think of the word right now. But when people say little stuff, and it's like
little subtle things, yeah.
Microaggressions, yes. Yeah. Little microaggressions that you see. That's what we need. That's what we need John for. Give us the big words when we need them, John. But no, little microaggressions that, and they can come in all different. Like where it's like I hate and I'm saying hate. I despise the ones that act like they don't know what a wig is, what weed is,
okay.
and they've been wearing it since. Stop it. So
one day I used to have, it was a small company. It was really a nice place to work actually. I had my iPad out in my area and I was listening to the news on my iPad. And I said, no, my boss came like, can I talk to you for a minute? Yeah, whatever, Somebody came to her and told her that I was watching something that was racially motivated. I said, the news?
Well, yeah.
I was like, well, who were you watching? I said, the news. And she stopped and she looked at me like, really? I was like, yes.
Yeah. There you have it.
So it's little things like that happen. Of course, I was like, who's right? Of course, she wouldn't tell me, but I'm like, it was the freaking news. So if you want to take it up with somebody, call Jay-Z 13 or whatever the crap I was watching, WJZ 13, Eyewitness News, whatever. Call them. Why was it racially motivated? I think it was only racially motivated because it was me who was watching it.
Because why are you even worried about what I'm watching?
And you probably walked past my desk. Was you really paying that much attention?
Yeah, probably was looking for a reason.
But it was like little things like that happened that I was like, yeah, it's time for me to go. Because as soon as I would speak up, then I'm going to be the angry Black woman.
Yeah.
So I was like, it's not even worth it.
And see, but that's also a way of the way people handle, like how you were saying earlier, when someone say stuff like, oh, you smart for a Black girl, that kind of hearing that, you don't really know the effect that has on you ultimately when it comes to your own race. Exactly. You know yourself, and within your own race, you don't know how that actually affects you.
Yeah.
Especially if you on the flip side of it. If you're the person that never hears that, or it's you and I, and it's said to you, and I'm just saying like, so what am I?
Right. Exactly. So what you say, the rest of us dumb.
Right.
Sometimes it ain't what you say, it's what you don't say.
Right.
Yeah. So and I remember this one incident. I worked downtown Baltimore and I was just walking. I think I was walking to leave work. I was leaving work. Walking. It was the summertime. No, it was cool outside because I remember. I had a jacket on, so I'm bopping because I don't like being cold, right? So it was an older Caucasian lady walking in front of me. You know, how you hear somebody walking, you turn and look. So of course she old, so I'm walking. So I'm walking like I guess she thinking I was running down on her. And you know, she started screaming and grabbed her purse and threw her body against the wall.
I hope you just kept on walking.
I laughed at her and kept on walking.
I probably would have pushed her on the ground. Yep.
And I was like, first I was like, what's going on? First she was like distressed or something. Then when I like replayed it in my head real quick, I was like, oh, I was running down on her.
Yeah, I probably would have been like, what? It fell into the wall with her. That's free, don't you?
So, you know, it's sad when it's, and unfortunately it's like expected from, you know, other people, because that's, you know, we experience stuff like that our entire lives. But what's hurtful is when it comes from
within
our own people.
Yeah.
You know,
yeah.
So she looked at me and saw me as a threat because of the color of my skin. But you my sister. And
in her eyes, it didn't matter.
No. And how light I was or dark I was. She just seen an African American woman coming her way.
But for
somebody who
looked like me,
their struggle won't be the same. She would have did that to you. She would have did that to me, you know. For you to say, well, you can't be a part of this sorority or this club because, you know, you're too dark or you're too light or what have you.
I mean, but you know, it's really no different. I mean, it is different, but it really is no different. It's just like a lot of those sororities and fraternities don't allow people from certain social structures, and you know, so it's always been a lot with it, but it was very unfortunate to find out that once upon a time, and it's still allegedly is still happening.
Like I said, I don't think I've experienced it from internal, you know, that I'm again aware of. I'm not even one that want to be a part of your stuff anyway. So but if it's a program or something that is beneficial, I would hate to find out that I was not selected because
you didn't fit a certain
so
so runs deep. The hatred runs deep.
Do you believe that as the days as the years progress, like once our young kids, once they get older, do you think it's still going to be something that's systemic, or that you think that is dying out, or that it's just hidden?
I feel like just like racism, a lot of things are still hidden. So it's not done the same way that it was once upon a time. It wasn't blatant. It was not right in front of your face. But I do believe it still happens. Like, I do still believe that when people see job application and see the name Dante, they already know. Yeah. And you get put to the bottom of the pile. Like, I do believe that still happens. So I do feel like that's one of those things, though, that certain things I don't feel like will ever go away as long as you have human beings. Yeah. But again, it's just hidden differently. It's done differently. It's more discreet now. So that's what I was gonna say when you said, you know, you don't think it ever, you have experienced it. But I'm like, now that we've talked about it, something might come to, like, you might be home tonight and be like, exactly. Now that we said this, X, Y, Z. Like, so I do feel like a lot of those situations, it happens. That's why I said, do you feel like as an adult, we just don't pay attention as much to it? Because like you said, we have bigger issues, depression, bigger pressing issues than worrying about the color of somebody's skin. Even though if I was out here dating, I ain't gonna lie, it had to be doing.
That's fine, because that's what you're attracted to. That's something totally different from you saying, all right, this is the person who I want to date, who I want to be attracted to, versus, oh, bro, you can't be in my club because you...
Oh, no, that's definitely different. But no, the reason I brought it up is because, like I said, me saying it is not as frowned upon as much as if a guy says it. Yeah. Like, we can say, well, he didn't because she was light-skinned, and that just might really be like, he just might like light skin, what, like, and that's okay if that's what you like.
What you like. I mean, you're entitled to that.
So that's why that's why I said it that way, because like I said, I've said it all my life and nobody has ever the point. Like nobody has never been like, well, that's not nice to say. Like, it just be like, it is what it is. Well, I guess they probably know too. You ain't gonna change my mind. It is what it is.
Absolutely.
I got my little chocolate man though.
John.
All right, cut that out, John.
No cutting that out.
My bad. Nah, but no, for real though. That's you know. So that's one of those things. I feel like sometimes the line has to be drawn somewhere. Like everybody. Because I have noticed that it's dark skinned women is who really experience it the most. And I have literally seen women arguing back and forth like, well, no, because it's worse for us. And I'm just like, oh, okay, so we can really fight about, you know, like we want to be a victim that bad. Because my thing is, ultimately, if a man do say, I'm not his cup of tea, well, good. Keep away from me. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's just that find somebody that's going to love you for who you are.
Right, but I don't think that it's taken that away. It's taken like they are beneath. You know what I mean? So, again, residue, because...
Yeah. But you ain't going to be able to change people's minds.
No, absolutely
so
not.
So you have to then be like, okay. It's just like they say that about Chris Brown all the time. They say that about Chris Brown all the time, that he don't like dark-skinned women. He don't let dark-skinned women into his sections, this, that, and the third. And I'm just like...
Why you want to go in there then?
That's what I'm saying. Right there, where I'm just like, okay.
Don't support him. Don't buy his music. Like...
And again, you going based off of something that one person said.
Yeah.
You know, we don't know exactly what transpired at that point or how it even got to that, because it ain't always that. But then he turned around and like that video we was looking at, that girl was chocolate and beautiful and dancing, boy. So it's like...
Yeah, so is that true or not?
Yeah.
I just think that that I understand the wounds.
Oh yeah, definitely. Because it's a long line of it.
If that's been your cup since you were a kid, and you know, people teased you and overlooked you or belittled you because of how you look, you kind of carry those wounds. Yeah, those wounds. So I can understand that, because like for me, I've always been extra skinny. This is probably the biggest I've been in my entire life. So I ain't have the booty and the hips and the curves. I ain't have all of that. They be like, she's skinny as I don't know what, but she cute for a skinny girl or something like that.
Girl, they used to call me the young and the breastless. In middle school.
Oh man. So that was, but that was something I was always self-conscious about.
So I guess I didn't internalize it.
Yeah, I was something I was always self-conscious about, because I mean, from a little thing, all I heard, you skinny, you straight up and down, you ain't good. Now I embrace who I am, and as I become an adult and more comfortable in who I am, but I didn't want to wear clothes that fit, because I didn't want to show like how small or how tiny I was. I didn't want to hear it. But now, if I feel like I want to put on something tight, I'm going to put it on.
Something tight,
you know. But that wasn't always, so I do understand those wounds.
Yeah, the internal. Especially because it's coming from you.
Exactly. And then if it's all, everybody else got a little bit of hips, a little bit of breath, they got all of that. So when you walking with your group of girlfriends on the summertime in the 80s, you the one on the side waiting for everybody else to get talked to. All the boys want to talk to them. I'm just sitting on the side, y'all. But yeah. I'm just being honest. But as I got older and started dating, like of course, most of the guys I dated, I ain't gonna say most of them, all of them like skinny girls, right? Because I'm skinny, so
Right.
I didn't think that it would be a time when I would be the preference.
Right. And that's the thing. It kind of go back to what my foot, what we were talking about. I don't even remember what episode it was, but just about rather than we have to learn to go where we're accepted, if you get what I'm saying. Like, stop trying to fit in the places that you don't fit into. That's really all. And it's probably harder than, not as easy as said. But we definitely have to, like, as adults, like, I feel like if you 40 and you
still trying to fit in.
Yeah, that's...
Yeah. Then it's
or you still having that argument, like I said, for somebody to call me a red bee right now, and I'll be like...
You have anything better?
Thank you.
We doing this since 2020.
Right. I feel like, thank you.
Yeah.
But again, it goes back to like, well, see, but like those fraternities and sororities and all that stuff. If this is what they use, I don't want to be a part of that.
Absolutely not. You stand for something different.
Yeah. I wouldn't even want to be a part of that if I knew. If I knew that that's what they did and it didn't even apply to me, I wouldn't want to be a part of it.
Exactly.
Yep. So.
Yep. I definitely understand that. But this is very interesting. Like,
very much so.
I learned something.
Yeah.
To learn something.
I guess we can do takeaways. We can probably get ready to wrap it up. I guess my takeaway really is that it's generational. Everything within our community is generational curse that needs to be broken. I'm not sure how to break it, but I do feel like you asked about the next generation, our children's generations, well, our younger children's generation. I think it will still be there because it's not going to go away, but I don't think that they will experience it as much. Because I feel like our children are more, like you said, Corey is very open. Like, she's not,
and I think also that they are exposed to more interracial kids.
And everything.
When we were growing up, we was around between, but like now it's, more people are, and so more of their friends have either a Caucasian parent or Asian parent or Black parent, you know what I'm saying? So it's becoming more of a normalcy to them.
Right.
So it's not going to be that type thing, you know? Because even with like Black girls, good hair, what's good hair?
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Good hair?
What's good hair?
And I've caught myself saying, like, I was saying, and I'd be like, no.
And I
don't even mean it like that. Yeah.
I try to intentionally not say it.
Yeah.
Because I have kids, they all have different types of grains of hair, but that doesn't mean that, if your hair curly, or is your hair straight, or your hair more corally, that it means that either one of y'all have better hair.
No. But I think, and see, for me, I feel like I say it, not because I actually think it's good, but because...
I think that's what we've been...
Yeah, so...
We've been...
If I say it to you, you know what I mean when I say it. It's actually almost a dig. It's not really a compliment. Exactly. But if I say it, then you know exactly what I'm talking about. And not that I think that is good. Like,
Exactly. So I think that, they are more exposed to multicultural children. So that is, I think that the chances of it really like surviving will die hundreds and hundreds of more years. I don't think so, unless it's something that really happens in society that really separates us as people again.
Yeah. Okay. So what do you think? Leave us a comment.
Comment.
Questions. Like, share, subscribe.
Y'all like that, didn't y'all?
Yes, indeed.
John, did that sound good?
Boom, boom, ting. Join us next Tuesday at 6 p.m. for our next episode of of Conversational Pressure podcast show. Take that out, John.
She keeps saying, take something out.
Edit that, John. No. But yes, join us next week at 6 p.m. on YouTube at Conversational Pressure podcast show.
Mm-hmm.
Do we want to think of a topic for next week, or we'll surprise them? Surprise, surprise, surprise.
So how about this? If there's something that you guys would like to hear us discuss, or that you can also play your part in the discussion as well, let us know. Drop it in the chat, and we'll look it up. If not, we will surprise you next week with our topic.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
Today's episode was produced by Infinite Social Solutions. They specialize in website registration, social media management, website hosting, and computer repair. You can contact John Williams, owner and IT specialist, also our producer.
John.
Put the clap in there. Is it done? Okay. With any inquiries at 443-681-9306 or by email at info@infsocialsolutions.com. Thank you. Have a great evening, and we'll see you next week.
See you next week.
Bye.